Welcome to A More Brilliant Life. We share inspiring stories from people who hit rock bottom, faced their challenges, and transformed their lives. Learn how you can rise above expectations, discover who you are, and reclaim your future.
Because she finally admitted that retirement age 55 or 60, you are heading and stepping to something much bigger. Because the very first, let's say 25 or 30 years of your life, you're just discovering, you're navigating, right? You're making living, you're establishing a family, you're paying the bills. Life is taking you different direction. But when you hit that midlife, you better to think about yourself, said, now what? I done everything. I was a dad, I was an employee, I was a good son. How about me? Where I am from the equation? You need, when you hit that 50, you put yourself back to the equation and say, now this is my time. This is my time. I'm going to do whatever I dream for right now.
Well, welcome Sairan Aqrawi to A More Brilliant Life podcast. This is the podcast where we talk through people's life journey. Basically, the goal is to show people that life is never linear, that there's always twists and turns. You can make a career change in the midlife. You can choose to relocate to a new country midlife. You can you have the choice to change the direction of your life. So that's the entire goal of this podcast, is to highlight people's stories where they've done exactly that. And we just try to bring out of the people, kind of reverse engineer like how they got to where they are today. And that's the whole goal. So today is Sairan. And I am so happy to have on the podcast, Sairan. Why don't you introduce yourself? Start wherever you'd like. If you want to start with your early life, or just tell us a little bit of something about yourself to get us started.
Yes, thank you, Jake, for having me at your lovely podcast. And you said it very beautifully at the beginning, like life is not a linear. It's not a copy paste that we can follow. It's not a manual that you do 1, 2, 3 and you are joyful and happy in your life. It's all up and down. Like you said in the beginning, either you pivot, you move, you change, you start a new career, you start a business. And that's the beauty about life, is unexpected, is you kind of like embracing the unknown. You start something not knowing is gonna work 100% or not. So briefly about me, I'm Kurdish from north of Iraq. I moved to the United States back in 1996. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm still a full-time engineer for Transit Authority, but I do have a side business as a business strategist. I help midlife professionals to start their online business and how they gain the ability and the clarity to have their skills or the passion they have and how they can monetize it and share it with the universe. And here I am talking to you today.
Cool, super cool. So you were born in Iraq, is that
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So how much time did you live in Iraq?
So when I moved to United States, I was only 26. I was young, not married, no kids, right?
But
So life was all open for me. And just like anyone who moved to a different country, their goal is to make their dreams come true.
yeah, but really, your formidable years were all spent in Iraq, and so it was that culture that you grew up in, and kind of learned to perceive the world through an Iraqi lens, right?
Yeah, it's a different culture, of course, not just the language. I mean, just the way how I grew up as a teenage. Just to tell you a simple difference that when I was in high school, we have a separate high school for girls and boys. We don't have a mixed high school. In college, of course, I mean, it was a mix between boys and girls, but it's a different culture. Not necessarily back then when I was there, it was very open. It's changed now. There is more Western, living over there all around the world. The world is changing now. We all become like a small village. The social media make it sounds like I can even blend with someone and have a friendship who live in Australia or in Russia or in Middle East or in Dubai in United States. Back in my days when I live in Middle East, there was none of that. So we kind of were sitting or kind of confined about one boxes, and we only know about the culture in our country. And the whole story changed when I moved to US. Yeah.
I believe it. So what was it like then? I mean, what kind of things like stood out to you culturally that like you were shocked by when you first moved to the US? Like what were the things that were difficult to get used to, or what were the things where you looked around and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe, X or whatever it is.
Yeah. And of course, just like most of us, when we move to United States, when we come through the operation and we stayed in Guam for a couple of months, we had a certain image about the American dream because seeing like movie in Middle East about Rambo and Rocky Balboa, and we thought like when we go there, life will be all about celebrities. It's going to be everything in a vivid color, and people were welcoming us because we have a degree and the job will be easy. And we did not know much about tax, that everything is taxable here. Like TV is a fee, utility services. We did not have those kind of taxes or fees back in Iraq. So I finished engineering school, bachelor in civil engineer. I did not pay a penny. But when I come to the United States and I see my kids and the expense that my kids have now in school is just very expensive, and a different approach, a different portfolio, a different kind of education. Going back to your question, is not necessarily as a shock or make me angry, like why even this is different. It's just different. You just need to cope with it. You don't need to be angry about it, or you don't need to be in hate with the new environment. You just need to cope with it, willing to learn, willing to adopt the changes. And again, I'm not suggesting people who to move to US or any other country to erase their identity totally. No one asking you to, when I moved here, no one told me you have to be just acting like a white girl who born in Connecticut, right? No one asked me to do that. But the duty is, or the key here is to be able to learn, pick up what's really worked for you, what's aligned with your soul, aligned with your culture, aligned with your core value. And if there is any other resources that does not align with those, just don't pick them up, because there is a lot of freedom here, and there is some resources are free, but it's harmful. So you just need to skip those and pick up what is really work for you.
Hmm. No, that's I mean, it's so fascinating. Just to come from such a different environment, different culture, especially at that time in your life, like after you've really already been um, so acclimated. I mean, sometimes when like the younger kids, like the super young ones, like they just blend in like instantly to the new culture, right? But for you, yeah, it must have been
Yeah, it's not
must
easy
have
when you're 26, because, like you said, Jake, it's totally true. I was already developed, I already finished the school. I knew what's right and wrong. But for my kids who born here, it's totally different because they born with the culture, they blend with everything. And that's the beauty about the pivot and change going to different country. And I have a quote in my Instagram. I love to write my own quotes. I say that sometimes your seeds or your best version might not be in the same place you're born in. So what I'm trying to say, maybe I had those seeds and good intention to make a difference in the community and society, but it was not seen back in Iraq. So those seeds were planted somewhere else. For you, maybe it's planted in Asia or planted in Middle East. You don't know. So not necessarily you think that you did not succeed to where you're born. That's make you a failure. You are not. You have the good intention. You have that dream, but that dream might be accomplished somewhere else. So that's the beauty about the pivot and change where you live.
So, did you have a strong understanding of the English language prior to moving to the U.S.?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in Iraq,
Uh-huh.
English is mandatory. So we
Uh,
start English in elementary school. So it's not by choice, right? I mean, yes, our accent were English, and every system we learn in engineering school were English. Meaning, when I come to United States, people start talking about how much you weigh in pound. I was like, pound. We always use kilogram, right? Or like the foot and the centimeter, we use centimeter and meter, and here you use the foot and inch. I was like, which kind of system? They said, oh, yours is English back in Middle East. Here is everything. And US is a different measurement. The English was not a problem. Yes, you have to work in your accent in a way. I will still have that accent. It's not going to go away totally. Because, like you said, when I came, I was 26, and I do practice three language daily. I speak Kurdish at home with my husband. I speak Arabic with my friend. Like I speak Arabic fluent, and I speak English at my day job and my business. So I practice three dialogue in a day. So sometimes when I come to say something to Jake, I say something to you in English, but the melody and the music is in Kurdish. You're like, what she's talking about? Because I've been doing those three dialect daily. The challenge is not the language, Jake. I think the challenge is for you to accept the idea that I am here, I'm in a different country. How can I make the best out of it? We need to put that ego a little bit aside. You might be PhD degree back in your country. You were a high paid engineer or a lawyer. When you go to different country, you need. I'm not saying starting from scratch, but you need to learn a lot and put that ego to sleep a little bit because you want to succeed on the new places, not having those old beliefs saying, I am good to go. They should welcome me. They should give me the best high pay. There is no should here. You are the one who moved to that country. You are the one who need to seek opportunity to become successful in that place. So
What
that's
was the primary motivation for wanting to move to the U.S.? Was it just more opportunity, or what were you thinking in terms of that, or was it a military conflict or something like that?
yeah. So it was a threat of retaliation from those who work for the NGOs and United Nations. Back the regime thought that if we work for those organizations, we consider to be spy and we have to leave the country. And we thought he's just joking. He will never touch no one. But then the threat become reality. So the State Department in U.S. Made a decision to evacuate all those. We were like over 3,000 employee to Guam, to the military base in Guam, for teaching us about the reality of living in the United States. So we stayed there for a couple of months before we moved to the U.S.
And they were basically just trying to acclimate you to the U.S. culture, and so basically it was like a buffer period for you there in Guam. Yeah.
Exactly, because again, it wasn't by choice. We had to leave the country. It was like a threat for our life. So I remember when I arrived to Guam, I only have $300. I mean, that's nothing, right? But I didn't know. I thought when I leave the country, it will be a short time and I'll come back. But they said the flight I took to Guam, that was like the last goodbye I had, when I say goodbye to my family and my sibling. So when they took us to Guam, they did not, we were all engineers, but we were evacuated with other staff, the driver, the lady who was cooking. So they have no word English. They don't even know ABCD. So we know the languages, and this is why they made that buffer transition in order to tell the other level of employee who were unfortunate not to know the language as much as we do or the culture to get custom or get familiar about what they are heading to. So there was a lot of funny stories like when we were translating for those people, because like the people in the military base, when they're explaining to us, when you arrive to United States, you have to, apply for a job, there is a tax. And we were translating, you should see all the question mark on those faces saying what they are talking about. This is so different. I mean, we were also surprised about certain things they told us, but we were not as shocked as they are because at least we spoke the language. We were like, reading books, and our bosses or our higher managers in the United Nations, they were all Australian, Sweden, American. So we kind of dealt with the foreign other countries, being involved at work. But for some, it was like a big change.
Were you married at the time that you left Iraq and
No,
with children? No. Okay.
no, I was single, but I met my husband in Guam. And yeah.
Wow. So it was right at that moment then. Oh, wow.
Not exactly when we arrived, but after a couple of months, I mean, they asked about who are the people who speak more than one language, and he speak I think four or five. I don't know. He speak way many more language than me. So we become translator. They open a high school for student, like for kids, to teach them a little bit about the school system in the United States, and then they open another school for adult to also talk about the culture, the real culture about United States, not the Rambo movies, the real American, like, the real American dream when we arrive here. So we start working together and dating, and the rest is history. Yeah.
I mean, what were some of the lessons that they taught then about American culture? I mean, how did they help to assimilate, or what do you remember?
Yeah, so the biggest difference, the very big difference I can remember, the very first things they told us, they said, you are at the military base, you eating, you are in camp, all resources available for you. That's not the case when you move to US, right? So enjoy. This is like a honeymoon for all of you. And we did not understand what they mean because in Middle East, like back when I was living with my parents, we don't have mortgage system. We still don't have mortgage system. We have rent, like you rent an apartment, you rent a condo, you rent a house, but 90% of the people in Middle East, they own their property. So when you buy the house, you buy it cash or whatever. There is no mortgage system. There is no bank who pay the house for you. So when they were explaining those things like mortgage, we didn't even know what mortgage is. So what he's talking about. But like again, when we arrived to the United States, the reality hit so bad. It's like, whoa, you have to work and pay taxes. And not just that, I mean, we had so many people who came from Middle East, from Iraq, with PhD degree, with master degree. With all respect to all of them, they were valuable. There were nothing wrong with them. But when you arrive to a different country, Jake, and you know that very well, you have to know about the education system in that country as well. You can't just get into the workforce saying, don't talk to me. I'm a PhD degree. I know more than anyone else. Well, people will embarrass you and say, where is your PhD degree from? If you work in Russia and you said your PhD degree from Dubai, I don't think in Russia they will value your PhD degree from Dubai, but they will still love you to at least pick up certain component of their education in order to marry what you have from Dubai blended with what you're going to have in Russia. So you can't just always go back and say, I have the highest degree. Well, good for you. But what are you planning to do here? Here is a different portfolio, the curriculum different, the study is different, even the way how they manage engineering project is totally different how I learned it from Middle East. So it's matter for you to be willing to learn, to cope with the different and pick up the changes and study it in order to succeed.
So, was there a period where they provided some financial support for you guys after you left the 2 or 3 months there in Guam?
So
Did,
yeah, so when you are in Guam, you basically go to that state which you have sponsor at. Who's your sponsor, right? So my husband's sponsor was in Washington D.C. My sponsor was in Nashville, Tennessee. Soon when you arrive, yes, they do give you food stamps for a couple of months, some help, some money or cash. But the minute you tell your caseworker you start working, even if you work in Walmart for $5, they cut everything. And you know the system because now you're working, you file taxes, you are an employee. So some people are just tend to be lazy and said, "Oh, I don't want to work. I'm just going to continue having those, benefits and food stamps and the help from the government." But you are not growing. You are not living the American dream. Then what was the purpose for you to come to different country to sit down and eat and watch Netflix? Is that a dream? Is that
no.
something people?
You might be able to do it for a period of time, but it's going to catch up with you. Yeah,
Yes,
and it,
it's
yeah,
boring. It's boring. And back in the days, I mean, and you know this very well. I mean, you take $100 to the store, you buy a lot of things. Now you go and you take the $100, you buy two things. So everything's expensive now. The demanding is different. Your kids will ask for a different level of life. So back then, maybe I was sufficient with even sharing my older sister clothes. We were sharing our clothes. Now kids nowadays they don't share each other clothes. They want that identity. I own it. I have it. But when I grew up, we were four sisters. I remember I was always happy when my older sister, allowed me to rent her expensive clothes. I was like, yay, she's a doctor. I can wear her clothes. But nowadays, our kids are, life is demanding. Life is different. I mean, the way how you see, not just with the technology, with everything else, everything is expensive. Everything is expensive now.
hmm. So you were sponsored by somebody. Is that an employer or is it like like? Tell me more about the how does the sponsorship work?
Yeah, so the sponsorship is someone basically who's going to sponsor you to come and live in the country. They are sure you're not going to end up making trouble or politics or any kind of movement or put them in trouble.
So
So
is this somebody that you knew prior to coming to
yes,
the U.S.? Yeah. Okay.
prior, not in like not very, very close, but at least they trust you. If you put their name on the application as a sponsor, when you arrive, you're not going to put them in trouble by not paying the rent or doing stuff like against the law. And when I arrived to United States and I become a citizenship, I end up sponsoring other people who call me from outside US. They said, "Oh, we're moving to US. Will you be able, please, to sponsor us?" And I always tell them, like the last one I did, I was like, you better to pay everything on time. Otherwise, I'm going to smack you because I have a very good, credit. I'm going to sponsor you. I trust you. I know you from college time. We were students together. But in this country, there is no job. You pay your taxes, you pay your bills, then I will be more than happy to sponsor you. So it's a matter of knowing the person. Yeah.
Does being a sponsor mean that you're providing housing for a period of time?
No, not
No.
necessarily.
Okay.
Like my friend who moved, she rent a place right away, but my name was on the application on the rental, meaning like there is a condition if she failed to pay the rent for that month, I'll be responsible to pay behalf of her because she has my name. But it never happened. Anyone who I sponsor, they met all the requirement. They did not put me in any trouble.
So how long did it take for you to really feel like you were on your own feet and you were in control of your life and your situation?
You mean when you move to different countries?
Yeah, when you first arrived in the US, like how long did it take for you to like really feel like the US was home, you were established, okay, I can do this. I'm on my own now. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be different for each person. I mean, it's very different if a guy come when he's 12, he's a teenage or 15, or a girl come when she's 5 with her parents. Mine was 26, so I was about to get married. I was dating, I get married and have kids. So for me, it took longer because I was doing so many pivot at once. I moved to a different country. I met the guy. I decided to marry him with no money. So boom, 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 boom. So I feel like it took me around 5 good solid years. And the reason why I said 5 years, because again, I did not born here. So I had to pick up all the differences. I have to establish a family. I have to think, should I just get baby and get pregnant, have babies, or postpone that, having a baby for later on. So for me, it took around 5 years because both of us, my husband and I, we were thinking to establish a good career before we become parent, and that was a wise things we did because having a kids right away, it's easy, but do you have all the resources and facility to provide a good life for them? So for me it was around 5 years. Yeah.
How many kids do you have today? Two kids.
21 and 23. Yes.
Wow. Oh, and are they going to school? Yeah.
Yes, my son graduated last May, and my daughter still has 2 more years to graduate. Yeah,
Wow.
very good kids.
Wow. Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. And so how many different places around the US did you live? Was it all like in the DC area or yeah?
So when I was in Nashville, Tennessee, that was the time. Then we dated with my husband, and we decided, said, oh, let's just get married and move to DC. So I never moved out of DC. I've been in Virginia. I would say DC is Virginia and DC, DMV area. I've been here since 1997. Yeah. Mhm.
It's super cool. So at what point did you get into the coaching of midlife transitions then?
The transition. So going back to the very early question when you asked the change, I come from different country, and it started very early. Even when I was in college and when I was doing engineering, I knew there is something else inside me. I knew there is something hidden, like I have this ability or fire or passion to make a difference, make an impact. But of course, engineering school very difficult. I was studying all day long, right? So that dream and that voice still inside my head keeps saying, you have something else, you have something else, like a hidden gem, like a talent that I buried inside. So when I came to United States and I went back to school and I earned my master's degree, that's when the universe told me it's time. that hidden gem coming back to you. Because when I finished my master, I started my doctoral right away, which is not a good idea to start right away. And while I was doing my doctoral in engineering, I had the opportunity to speak with younger engineers. That's when I found out, oh, I love that. I'm giving back to the community. I am mentoring younger engineers. I am receiving all those testimonial and feedback and fulfillment. Oh my God, I love it. So I love it so much. I never finished my doctoral. I put it aside. I said, stay right here. My ego's okay. Stay right there. And I started business back then. And back in 2018, when I stopped my doctoral, I was only coaching women who has engineering background or degree come to United States legally to fill their American dream. Because my mentor said, you are the best one to speak about that because you done it yourself. It's your own story. Because when you come to this country, you only have $300. You were able to establish a good life. So I done that for a few years. On September 2023, my mentor said, you need to change your niche. You are doing very well. I think you're going to be very good to be a business strategist to help others to find their niche or their niche. It's both right, niche or niche. I was like, but I'm afraid to do that. He said, this is why it's good because you are afraid to do it. Anything scare you to death, it's me the best things for you. I was like, why he's saying that? He's gonna put me in failure, whatever. So it was right because the thing that really scare you, Jake, is on the other side is your best version. And this terrified. I was like so comfortable about what I was doing. But he said, no, I think you can add more value by being business strategist. So I changed my niche on September 2023. And now I guide a professional, women or men, it doesn't matter, uh, to, to bring their skills or their expertise because I don't like you to keep that passion just a hobby you do. I will help you and guide you to make that passion a side business, monetize that hidden talent. Don't keep it inside. Don't hide it. Don't brush it off. Listen always to that inner voice. Listen to what people compliment you about. They tell you, Jake, oh my God, we saw your blogs, Jake. We saw why you don't write a book. He said, no, I'm not an author. Listen to those people because they are giving you clue that you have a hidden talent. You might be doing very well in your business, but they see the way how you write. They see a young author's about to born. Don't tell them, no, I'm not an author. Say, I will see if I can write a book. So when you hear those compliments, do not mute them. Those compliments, when they keep coming in front of you, those are clues for your hidden talent. Just bring those, compliment and try to make it a side business. And that's exactly what I'm doing with my client.
So can you give an example of, I mean, obviously you don't have to name any names, but can you tell me like a story of somebody that really made a transformation? Yeah.
Of course, and so many example. I can remember the very last one that I had. She was in HR. She was a human resources manager, and when she was close to get retired, I mean, she was doing her retirement paper. She told me, she said, "Yo, she done her years, and now she's ready just to retire." And I said, "Then why you book a call with me? I don't understand." She said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you, but although I was in HR, but I am the one who's in the family and among my friend, the person go to." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I always have that ability to hear the unspoken truth." I said, "What do you mean? Can you explain?" She said, "I have friends, they come to me, they said, all we need just to ask you and what do you think about what's happening to our life?" So I said, "Are you suggesting you are a life coach?" She said, "I don't know what it is." I said, "Okay, let's just test it. Let's see what the other area that you complimented, what was those compliment coming your way?" And I find out she was really working well with human. Like she was really have that empathy and passion to help others. Although her day job was a human resources, she was doing a lot of paperwork, employment, hiring, firing. But in reality, she was someone that she was really have that unique ability to listen to you and guide you towards your goal. Now she had a business. She made very good money. She's running thrive. She has such a thriving coaching business. She's competing with me, and she was my client. Yeah,
Oh,
she found out finally she did not put her hidden gem into sleep. She bring it up. She monetize it because passion is not enough. It's not enough. You say I'm passionate about something. Great, you're passionate about it. What are you gonna want? What you want to do with that passion? If you are an artist and you draw very nice, if you don't want to sell your paint, that's okay. But at least share that talent with others. Let other enjoy your drawing and your paint and your art. Even if you don't want the money, just don't hide it. Don't throw it in the basement. Bring it to the service and celebrate it with others.
And so this client of yours, she actually started this coaching business
Yeah,
in retirement. Is that right? Or after retiring?
yeah, she was actually the last stage for retirement. She's doing her paperwork. Right after that, I don't think she stayed like without job more than 3 months because she started online and now she's competing with me. I was like, oh, the student become better than the master now because she finally admitted that retirement age, 55 or 60, you can call it any age you want. It's you are heading and stepping to something much bigger because the very first let's say 25 or 30 years of your life, you're just discovering, you're navigating, right? You're making living, you establishing a family, you're paying the bills, you're taking care of your elderly parents, in-laws. Life is taking you different direction. But when you hit that midlife, you better to think about yourself. Said, now what? I done everything. I was a dad. I was an employee. I was a good son. How about me? Where I am from the equation? You need, when you hit that 50, you put yourself back to the equation and say, now this is my prime time. This is my time. I'm going to do whatever I dream for right now.
That's so true. And but it, yeah, it's kind of crazy that it takes there must be something in the biology of humans that, you know, it takes that 30, 40 years before that, and you're right, you have to have these life experiences, you kind of have to get through these things before you're ready and your mind is like, okay, now I'm, you know, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to do something different, I want to learn again, I want to
Yeah, yeah. Some people it take longer. For me, it took longer because of the nature of like I moved from my country to different country. But you take someone like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, they become professional basketball player because they from day one when they were young, they focus on their core genius. They took their core genius as a basketball player and they become a professional legend basketball player. So you might not be someone who as lucky as they are when they focus on one thing and they continue mastering at it, or Bruce Lee, or Les Brown as a speaker, or Tony Robinson. Some people get to their core genius earlier because they search, but they don't brush it off. They said, no, I'm just a writer. I'm going to quit my IT job and I become a writer. And I'm not solution back to my client because I cannot be responsible if they have a talent and telling them, oh, then just quit your job and do your talent. That's not logic because they have kids, they have bills, right? And like we mentioned earlier, everything's expensive. They need to establish a foundation of their talent first and make it in a strong foundation. And then later on, when they start picking up client or selling more, then maybe if they are comfortably financially, they can quit their day job and doing their side business. There's a famous Big Dream. What's her name? I forgot her name. She's very famous in the United States. Her books, Big Dream Big or Big Dream. She mentioned in her book. I mean, she was very uh, uh, truth about her life. She's saying she done so many career until she become that famous author. So she did not make $1 million from her first book. She was doing 2, 3 jobs until she found her niche and she become a great author. Robert Greene talked about himself in every interview. He said he done more than I think he said 45 or 50 jobs until finally he know he's going to be an author, but finally he decided to talk about human nature and 48 laws and all mastery book, all the great stuff that he write about. So some people they get to that core genius earlier than others, and that because of the environment, the way how they live, um, other factor. Like I move right, but for someone like my kids, they might gain that clarity about their core genius easier because they always been living in the United States. So they were in the same environment, so they know where their path is.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the fallacies that we as humans miss, and or at least the general public, like they always look at somebody like a Robert Greene or a Michael Jordan, and they see the finished product, and they forget the decades of growth, of experiences, of failures, and all of those things that it took to get there.
Totally.
Um,
The unseen sad story, how many times they were on their knee, how many times they were on tears, how many times they doubt their dream, how many times they thought about this is the foolish steps they did in their life and this is a big mistake. But that's where the success comes, Jake, when your why is very strong and you really, really clear about your purpose. You never give up. If your purpose is wishy-washy and you are all over the place, of course you're going to give up after 5 years. But if you really know that you are capable and that dream will never die inside you, and you are so committed, nothing will stop you. When my client said, "I dream, I want," I said, "Stop those words. Are you committed? Because if you are not committed, please don't call me back, because I'm not a coach who's going to make you feel good. I'm not a therapist. I'm
right.
a certified coach. I'm not your friend. I'm not going to make you feel good. That's not my job. I'm not your cousin, right? So I'm not going to come here and make you all feel good, give you a hug. Oh my God, Jake, you are perfect. That's not my job.
It's so true. You can't sit there and be overly concerned about your feelings, because if you're just always stuck in this chasing a feeling, like you're never going to break through and do the work, or learn the lessons that you need to learn. You're just always going to kind of stay stuck in this comfort zone. And that's a very good point about I truly embrace that philosophy too. A good coach is not somebody who's trying to be your friend. They're trying to be somebody with honest feedback and direct communication, um, and yeah, trying to get you to see that those things that are deep down inside you, that you're not
Yes, yes.
that's not coming out.
Coaches
Hmm.
are guidance. We are guidance. We are accountability partner, right? So if you pay me hourly or monthly to make you feel, or proud and pride and clap for you and cheer for you, just ask ChatGPT to say that to you. I'm not a machine. I'm someone who went through intensive training and certification to be capable and able to help you to move from A to B. So I might be your friend after we finish, like with the lady with the HR. We are friends now. We go and have coffee together. She was my client. Now she's doing very well. We become friends. But while I was coaching her, she was not my friend. So I might be harsh on her in the beginning with the client. I always tell them, you're going to hate me so much in the beginning and you're going to love me so much towards the end. Because I'm not here in the love and hate thing. I'm here to take you from A to B. You pay me that money in order to reach your best version. Not that I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to walk you through your goal. Still respecting your goal, but I'm walking with you. I'm guiding you towards your goal.
So, have you ever worked with clients who just kind of come to you and say, "I'm unhappy with my current situation. I don't like my current life. I don't like my current job," but they're not really clear on what direction to take?
Course, of course.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the reason now my complimentary session is 15 minutes. It used to be 1 hour when I have more energy. And down the road, when I start getting big paid client, I said, no, 30 minutes, even a lot. After 15 minutes, Jake, you can tell if that client committed or not, or they are just to the call to vent. So I have women coming professional, pay well, and they tell me that they want to start a business after retirement. I said, are you retiring now? It's, oh, I'm the last stage, I'm retiring. While they are talking 7, 8 minutes of the 15-minute complimentary, they talk about their husband not helping them around the house. What is that to do with starting a business? I mean, right? I mean, we vent as friends, we see each other's. It's okay to vent a little bit, but you book that complimentary call in order to see if you are a good match, if I'm a good match for you as a coach to take you to your online starting a business. But you spend most of the call complaining that your husband, I don't know, first, that's not my job. I mean, I'm not going to go smack him because he's not helping you. I am your coach you want to hire in future to take you, towards your goal. So you could tell after many years if someone is calling you to vent or if someone really committed to succeed.
So, what tips do you have for people then, or at least do you have tips for people that maybe they call to vent, or maybe they're not quite, they haven't quite made the decision, or they haven't committed? Um, what tips do you have for them for like when they do actually circle back to you to be ready, or is it, or maybe is it just something that they have to come to on their own?
Really good question, Jake. So that's very important, and the reason why it's important because you want to really invest in your time and also not wasting my time because I want to have I don't want to jeopardize my reputation as a good coach with a client who's going to put very bad view on me, say she's the worst. And the reason why I know those clients right away. If you are not committed, don't call me. But to give the tips to the people who trying or thinking to hire a coach or a mentor is to be clear what they want. You don't want a client coming to you at, let's say she's a female, she's 31 and she want to get promoted, she want to find the right man and she want to get pregnant and she want to move to Dubai. I'm not a magician. I mean, can I help you to do all of that? You have to be clear about one thing, what do you want? If you're 31, first, if you want to get pregnant, you want to find a good partner, right? So that's before even the pregnancy. So when you find a good partner, then you decided to have a baby. After the baby, you can work on your skills training to get promoted. It's in sequence, right? You have to compromise in the beginning, not to have all the stuff at once. So the clarity is the foundation. You have to be clear where you're heading.
Yeah.
Then the more, yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any advice for people on how they can get clear on those
Yes,
things? Do
that's
you?
that's a
Yeah.
good question. So some people
Uh-huh.
they don't have that clarity. There's a foggy thinking, they're all over the place. You need to ask yourself, what do I want now? Not what I want in 5 years. If you are 31 as a female, what do you want? Ask the question to yourself. I'm not gonna come to the call and telling you the best things for you. That's your life. It's an inner job, Jake. It's not me telling them what to do. I am as a coach guiding them to what they want to be. Right? So I'm not telling them, oh, it's worked this way for me. You should do my way. She's not me. She has her own circumstances. So to gain that clarity, you need to sit down in a corner with a cup of green tea, no distraction, with a piece of paper. I want this in 2026. I want to find the right man. I want to get promoted. I want to go back and gain certification from Harvard. I want to move away so I can have a different perspective. You need to write it down because if you don't write it down, it's going to go in the sky, it's going to be disappear. And this is why neuroscience always said, like, I'm not a doctor, but they said when you write something by your hand and you go back and you touch it, it's stuck to your head because you recognize your handwriting is not typed. It's not written by Jake, it's written by me. So I own that goal because I write it by my hand. And then I go back and read it again and say, now it makes sense. Maybe it's true. Maybe first I need to find a good job before I go start a business. So you write it down, you gain that clarity, and you have to have a focus, like a focused vision about one thing. Don't be in every aspect of life. Just focus on one thing. And when you focus on that one thing and you master it, you move to the second thing. So clarity is the very, very first things you need to do in everything and relationship, job, finding a business. Like a house, if the house built on a bad foundation, the house will collapse. This is why I said the very first things. I call it foundation. I use the engineering metaphor for clarity because everything you do on the top of that foundation, it's good because your foundation is clear, it's strong. Then after foundation, after you gain the clarity, you need to take the action. And the action are the wall and the window and the whole structure frame. Without action, all you're saying, talk is cheap. Everyone can say, read a couple of books and come to the audience say, I'm educated. I read 50 books. Good for you. Where is the action? Right? If you come to me as a client and said, I want to be a speaker, great. What do you have done, Jake? You said, Oh, I listen to Les Brown. I attend Tony Robinson training. Okay, move on. Yeah, I took Brian Tracy. Okay, and what is the action? You are just someone on the audience. The action is for you to take the very first step as a speaker. You want to run a panel. You want to be part of a panel or do a podcast or be on stage, even if the audience are 20 people. It doesn't matter. Even if there's four people sitting on the audience, you are a speaker. That's the action I'm looking for. The action is not you listening to Les Brown. Anyone can listen to Les Brown, but they're not going to be a speaker by just listening to. They want to be a speaker themselves. And the last
Right.
is the ceiling. So action, clarity, the wall and the windows, action. Then on the top is the ceiling that protect the whole building. And that's the consistency. You have to be consistent. Because if you do one milestone and you celebrate and call it a day, that's not a success. That's a milestone, right? So it's exactly is the shape of the gem which I have, my business card. So you see the foundation is the base, that's the clarity. And these are the action, taking action in order to get to the roof. And without consistency, the whole thing's
Yeah. In terms of consistency, you're looking for daily action. Is there any
yes, yeah,
specific, yeah. Is there any specific advice in terms of like daily action? Like
yeah.
what is some, yeah.
Good question. So when I say consistency, I don't mean that you do the same thing, like a small bite of the thing that taking you to the big things.
Hmm.
Very close example. Say you're trying to lose 10 pounds, right? And if I say, oh, consistency, you have to go to the gym 4 hours and you have to eat very healthy. I'm not going to stress you out about this. If I give you small bite, like if I say to be healthier, drink more water. That's one thing. Just drink more water. Don't drink juices, just drink more water. And later on, I'm gonna not gonna tell you, oh, the other small bite is go to the gym 2 hours. That's too much. You have to make it joyful. You have to make it approachable. You have to make it people able to digest the advice you're giving them as a consistency. So after drinking more water, I'm not telling you to be on diet. I haven't even mentioned diet yet. I'll say, oh, did you drink more water? Yeah, I've been drinking more water, less caffeine. Okay, what's the next consistency step? I would say, can you walk around the block for 15 minutes? Yeah, I love it. I'm going to walk my dog. I'll just walk with my wife or my friend for 15 minutes. It's like small bite, block by block. Then the huge things will see it in the end. You see the big difference happen after those small. That's
Yeah, it's no, it's very true. I mean, you really dialed in on just habit change. Like
yeah,
that's what yeah, or habit creation, I should
yeah.
say. Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
more like doable because sometimes it's already hard to lose 2 pounds and you're talking about 10 pounds. I'm not going to say, oh, starve yourself. That's not a right thing. You have to make it doable in a way that the client will not hate the process. You have to make it doable in a way they enjoy, come back, said, oh, you know what? I add something else to what you said. That's the consistency. And within 6 months, they lost the 10 pounds without even being miserable.
Have you ever tried to really help someone adopt a new identity? I mean, obviously, this is part of what you do, but like, how about like just going at the identity itself? Is there things that you go there? Yeah,
It's one of the hard things
yeah,
because human by default, all of us, I'm one of them, we still remember bad comment said to us in our 20. We still remember the ex when he said, I'm not beautiful enough. We still remember the ex girlfriend telling me, I'm not going to marry you because you are poor. We still carry those luggage with us until we are 50. So those beliefs make our move very heavy because it's funny how human forget compliment, but they never forget someone who make them feel miserable or make them feel bad. Dr. Maya Angelou said it very true. She said, "People forget what they said to you, that what they told you, but they will never forget how they make you feel. If someone,
yeah.
the ex, make you feel miserable in their 20, and you told her, "I'm not gonna marry you because you are not skinny enough, you are not pretty enough," even though after she leave you, after marrying the best man, and he's treating her like a princess, she will still have that little teeny tiny, sadness about her first boyfriend who told her she's not skinny enough. So that's going back to your question. That's the hardest things because again, I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. So the harder things to keep telling the client, please don't bring old story to me. I'm not a therapist. Don't tell me that your ex 10 years ago told you you are not smart. What do you want today? I don't care what your ex told you. So you have to remind them you are not here to fix the past problem. You are here to make the current situation better and plan for future. So current, how you feel, what do you want, take you to the best version. But if you keep bringing back the history saying, but when I was in college, I was not smart. What do you want right now? So sometimes I have to cut them off because they bring the past again. So your question is true. Sometimes it's hard to find the real identity for that client because that client is still living in the past. That client still think he's not good. That client, she still thinks she's not pretty. That has nothing to do with the coaching session. You hire me to start a business. You hire me to be in a higher position in engineering. You hire me to gain confidence. And yet you're speaking about something happened when you were 15 and you are 35 now. 15, that's long time ago, right? So that's again in our job. They need maybe to consult a therapist or talk with a family member. When they are clear that their goal really worth doing it, they can come back to the coach and start building their career.
Hmm. So, give me some examples of some businesses that you helped start or help people get a stronghold in, or is it a lot of it like career advancement, or are you working with a lot of people actually just like starting their own businesses from scratch?
Yes. So if you look at my Instagram, you will see I don't post a lot of testimonial there because, and I respect the client. Sometimes the client who pick up their pace and become successful, they also asking not to be published, everywhere saying they were one day a client of someone. But with all respect to all the clients that I have, I love them all. Certain one stand in my, it stand out because they do something totally different about what they've been doing for a long time. For example, I had client, he was a lawyer, but he hates his job. He hates his job. He's like so depressing. I was like, but you get paid very well. He said, I do. I have a wife, I have kids, I have a $5 million house, but I'm miserable. I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't know. That's why I'm calling you because I don't feel there is a fulfillment. I don't feel sense of belonging. I feel I'm the lawyer who sucked the money from the client and I feel I'm a bad person. I'm not giving back anything, no value, no impact. So you have to work on those people, see what they are really, what's hidden inside them, what they really want to be in the future. And that lawyer now, he quit law. He's not even in the law firm. He write books. He write books. He just left to write. Not necessarily about his client experience, but about every incident happened to him through law school and when he practiced law, how that's affecting his approach to life, how that changes approach to certain things in life. So it depends what you love to do, and don't feel bad if you are in a medical era and you want to be a speaker. If you are in IT and you want to paint, you are in finance but you want to be a speaker. Like what is the correlation? Oh, there is a correlation. The IQ, it's always merit the EQ, the emotional intelligence. You might be good in certain things in your daytime, but your skills and your talent that you have has nothing to do with your day job.
So what typically is it that's blocking people from making the leap? I mean, with the lawyer, he was certainly well off in terms of finances, so that probably wasn't an issue for him. But like, what other types of things are that arise? Yeah.
90% of client is the fear of failing. I'm a lawyer, I make a lot of money. If I quit that and become a writer, of course I will not be Robert Greene in 6 months. Well, no one asked you to be Robert Greene, right? But you love to write your first book. You might just make $10,000. but you're doing something that is really joyful to you, right? But staying in your low practice make you miserable and having pills and depression, that doesn't serve you as well, right? So it's the fear of failing and the fear of starting something new that you might not be successful at. You're thinking like, why I am pivoting, why I'm changing a practice or a career, going towards something that I don't even know if it's good for me or not, because it's not calculated yet. You're just jumping into it. But if you think about it, Jake, if you look back and about example of people who inspire you, men and women, take it from anyone, speaker, entrepreneur, any name. I'm not going to name million of them, but if you look at their story, they will tell you they were never completely ready when they jumped. They never asked for permission. They just jumped to it. They start before they were ready, right? They figure things out. They make it happen. They said, I know I'm not perfect in this. I'm going to try. I'm going to fail. I'm going to try. I'm going to fail. But eventually, I'm going to succeed.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. If you're hanging on to, and waiting for something, waiting for all of the pieces to be in place before you start something, you're never going to start, and you're just going to
Never
stay where you are.
will never happen. You just need to start. And that's what I put in my Instagram all the time, on and on. Please start. Please start the idea. Pitch that idea. Take that leap. Start something. Speak on panels. Speak on podcasts. Do something. Try something small. It will not give you million of dollars, but start. Because if you, like you said, waiting for that perfect timing come, there is no perfect timing. You need to create
So,
the time in order to start.
and so when people start something new, what are some common failures that people experience? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what are some of the most common pitfalls that people fall into that they need to kind of dig themselves back out of and to keep the process going? Does that
I
make
will use
sense?
myself. I will use myself
Okay.
as, because I fail a lot. I can write book about failing, right? So I use myself. So when people look at my LinkedIn, they'll be like, "What's wrong with her?" I mean, 35 years engineering. What she's doing? Is she's brain damage or something? She's doing like business strategist. Where is the connection? To answer that doubt, or to answer the word naysayer, people who want to be miserable for no reason, you need to know your skills and master it. So yes, it's true. If you look at my LinkedIn, I'm still a full-time engineer. In order to be a competent business strategist, I cannot just claim it because I took ACC and I'm a certified coach. You have to go through a lot of process. You have to be competent in order to gain that confidence. So for people who question you about the lawyer example or about the HR lady or about me, that your 35 years career has nothing to do with what you're doing right now. Where your answer is, see my product or see my service. That's the biggest revenge and answer to those people. Because if they question that you are not competent or capable to do that, when you show them the outcome, when you show them the result of your work and the side business, they cannot question you anymore. So what I'm trying to say is not by you attacking them back. So if they give you a bad comment on Instagram or LinkedIn saying, you are Mrs. Engineer, what are you doing in coaching? Well, that's not it. Don't answer them with the same level saying, let me attack them. Let me show them the ugly face of me. That doesn't serve you. But when they go to your business page, when they see the testimonial, when they see how many changes you make, the speaking gigs, the places you spoke at, the changes, the impact you did, they will not going to give you that comment anymore, because they know that in order to blend your day job with your side business, you went through practices, you went through training, you have the skills now. So your skills didn't come overnight. The mastery come from doing so many things. So not everything worth replying, not everything worth you to waste your energy in order to make your point. Make your work speak for you. Make your outcome speak for you. Have your reputation and your skills defend you. Do not defend it by answering those people. It doesn't work.
So what, like when somebody is considering making the leap, and stepping into a new career or a new life or whatever it is, what are some of the most common fears that you encounter that are just completely like, I don't want to say bonkers, but like, things just like, you don't have to be worried about that. or are there fears that are most of the fears actually things that they should be concerned about? Or you know what I mean? Like what are some of the most just just fears that don't make yeah
They
that
say, "Well,
that
I'm not
are
ready." I say, "I'm not
yeah
ready. I'm not ready." And I
uh,
ask the question, "What's ready mean?" I'm just not completely ready for that. Let's say for the speaker part, they said, "Do you want to speak?" "Oh, I'm not ready." "What do you mean ready?" "Oh, I'm not perfect. I don't have a perfect message." I said, "Can you be on a panel with three others?" "No, no, no, I'm not ready." "Can you be on a podcast?" "No, I'm not ready." Okay. So I give an example, which is a bad example. So don't do it here in US. You'll be in trouble. When I was a swimming coach in my teen and my early 20, I had a lot of women who I was teaching them to start swimming. Of course, swimming, one of the sports, you're not going to go outside the swimming pool and say, you move your hand this way, you're going to breathe this way. You are in the swimming pool, right? So I have many women, most of the women, they are even scared to come inside the swimming pool with me because they have the fear of water, because they always say, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. Oh, how many feet? How many feet? I'm a shorty. So they always, the fear is in their head. So I was not able even to bring them with me in the swimming pool. So again, don't do it in US because this is not legal. Over there, when I'm Middle East, kind of like open here, I can do whatever you want in the 80. I end up throwing them on the swimming pool and also threw myself with them. But I threw them. And the reason why I did that, because I want them to have that fear just to, float, right? So you threw them on the swimming pool and I'm right beside them holding their arm and their shoulder so they know they are safe. But the reason I made that example is the same thing with business. When the client telling you are ready, just threw them on the experience. And I did it on the speaking. I had women who come to me, they said, "Oh, I'm afraid to speak. I'm not ready." Guess what I did? The next event, I invite them as guests and I make them come to the stage. And they hate me. I could tell that they hate in the eye. They just want to like smack me, right? But then when they went home and they thought about that, I end up making them coming to the stage and speak up. That was the same way I threw that, a swimmer,
yeah
the person who went to swim in the swimming pool, because she want to be a speaker, but she's always hesitating to be on the spotlight. What I did, I invite her as a guest. She never thought I'm going to call her on the stage, but I end up calling her. And that's embarrassing not to come to the stage in front of 100 people. But she thanked me later because I break the code. I break the
and
code. I break that fear. And now she speaks.
that's amazing. And so she actually did okay then on stage. She spoke well enough. Yeah.
Shy.
That's
She
amazing.
was like hesitating to talk, but I can see. I mean, she was so close to kill me on the stage because I make her come to the stage, but I did a favor to her because I cracked the code. She was never willing to make the first step. I push her to make the first step, just the same way I push the person on the swimming pool. So if
Yeah.
sometimes the first step when you have your client to do, they will never like you for doing it. They're going to hate you for it because that's the point they fear the most. They tell you they want to speak, but they don't want to be on stage. They love to be a speaker, but they don't want to be on podcast because of the public judgment. Who cares? If people judge you, right? You want to be a speaker. You are in this front of public eyes. People will make fun of your look. People will make fun of your accent, your language, your statement. Well, most of the time, the people who really make fun of those, they are not doing anything in their life. They have so much spare time just to critique you. The people who are busy to build empire in their business, they have no time to critique you in a bad way. They give you a good point to improve, but they never attack you like that.
So is there anything you can say to help people be less self-conscious about themselves and to care less about what other people think? So, I mean, other than like, throwing them in the deep end of the pool or throwing them up on stage, like what kind of tips can you say? Yeah.
Yes. So normally I ask this question and I say, okay, what are you afraid from? She said, well, I've been always engineer. Now, if I want to write a book, people will make fun of me when they see my first blog. I said, okay, what else? What is the other fear? Oh, well, my in-laws, my brother and sister, my friend, they said she's engineer or IT. Why she's writing a blog? I said, every single reason you told me, there's a human being behind it. And I said, is that the why? Is that your strong why? They said, no, my why is I want to be a writer. And I said, the writer, your why has no human in it. Your why is stronger than those people. Your why is thicker, is deeper, is in the deeper level. You want to make a difference in your book, and yet you are scared what is your in-laws going to say. That's a human being. You are not writing your book for your in-law. Your why is to make a difference. So your why is bigger.
No,
Always
that's
your why.
yeah, I really like it. I love the advice, and it's really it's pointing out that you're just focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on
Yes.
yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
there will be always, I mean, hater. I mean, you're talking about the most successful people in the world. I mean, I can't believe people still say bad things about Ryan Holiday's book. He talked about Stoic. He's Robert Greene, mentees, or someone like uh, Tony Robbins, or I'm not saying they are perfect million, but they are doing great job. And yet you see people put harsh comment about them, and guess what? All those people, they have not done anything in their life.
No, they're not in the game. They're not a part of the game at all.
No.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Hmm.
they will never critic those legends.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. Well, just a couple more questions and we'll wrap it up. But any regrets kind of looking back on the past, 40, 50 years or however long this journey has been for you, just in terms of like what you would have done differently, any advice you have for, your younger self?
10 years ago, I used to say the regret I have that I didn't start earlier. Now I don't even say that statement. I change it because I'm not regretting about anything happened the same the way it's happened. And the reason why is you don't want to be following a manual in order to match somebody who really admire. You want your own footprint. You want your own charisma, your uniqueness. So you don't be, oh, I wish if I did like Jake, not going to engineering school, just being like Jake, brave enough and start a business. I'm not Jake, right? So your identity, your uniqueness happen by not feeling regret about anything happen. Every step happen along the way, Jack, it's make who you are. It form the way who you are. It's build your personality. It's make the version you are speaking with now. So by me regretting, oh, I wish when I came to United States, wishing for what? That's past. Past died, right? There is no regret. And my advice to my younger self, I I wanted to tell my younger self in my 20 and my teen that not to be scared that much, not to exaggerate every event in your life. That's my advice to people. When things happen in your life, and my mom used to say that when we were younger, we never understood why she's saying that. Always measure the event actual size. So if the event is this big, keep the same size. Don't make it smaller. Don't exaggerate. Like don't respond to things in a dramatic way. Like if your boss says something to you at the meeting and he embarrass you, it's embarrassing. There was 50 people in the room and he said something harsh to you. Yes, I'm not telling you to laugh and party after that. But don't drag that incident for 1 week and make your wife miserable. It was one incident happened at the staff meeting, and the person was just give it the same size. Try to calculate the event exactly the size it is. Again, don't make it so small saying, I'm so happy he insult me. Not to that extent, but also don't make it the worst things happen in your life. I cannot believe he said that. I better to go tomorrow and give him my ugly face. Don't exaggerate event because staying calm and staying true to yourself, living the moment, it's something that we all need to work on this tranquility. That's Taoism, how to be calm, how to be able to reply, not to respond, how to be able to add my two sentences without being aggressive, without me defending myself. Just stay calmer. Try to go through event and give them its own value and size. Don't exaggerate things.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic advice. Well, final question: what do you foresee for your future? What do you have in store? Do you have any Anything percolating in the back of your mind that you'd like to see happen in your future?
Yeah, what I know for sure, I will never stop. I mean, I don't feel like I haven't even reached anything that I dream about. I'm just starting. And the reason why I'm a little bit slow like a turtle, because I am still working. I'm not a full-time businesswoman, so I'm working day job, and I'm hoping by, end of my 50s, I will be having the courage to say, goodbye to 9 to 5 jobs so I can do this for a living. But I'm not there yet, and I feel like I have much more to offer, and I feel so good when I make someone's life, you know, trajectory in a positive way.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Where can people find you, Seiran?
Yes, so I'm in LinkedIn. They
Uh-huh.
will see all my engineering background, credential in STEM and tech, and I'm also on Instagram, and I do have a website under my name, Sairan Aqrawi.
Well, you have a fascinating perspective, a fascinating story, and so much incredible advice for your clients, and I really appreciated this conversation today. It was fantastic talking to you.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me at your lovely
thank
podcast. I
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you want to find out more about us and our mission, check out brilliantlifejourney.com.